What's up, guys? We are back with another video. If you are new here, my name is Sammy and we are the Mermaid Gang. This is where you can come and suspend or cancel, whatever. This is where you can come and suspend your disbelief, okay? Just suspend it for a minute with me and you won't want to unsuspend it. I am your favorite, your brightest, your flawless, most perfect manifestation coach and YouTuber. So if you would like for me to help you dissolve whatever is between you and your manifestation, go ahead and it's in my description box below. Go ahead and sign up for coaching. You can't tell, but I am sitting on a pillow on my couch because in the last video that y'all saw, I was just getting progressively shorter through the video. I could see more and more headspace just because I move around. And at one point I was sitting on my legs and then stuff, you know, so I'm just gonna sit on a pillow and alleviate the whole problem. Okay, we have a whole neon vibe going on here and I'm here for it. So I realized that I never did revision, like affirmation revision success stories. So what do I do when I want success stories? I go to my group and I'm like, hey, you 30,000 people, I need success stories, so give them to me. And what do y'all do? Y'all give them to me. Y'all have everything I need. So I'm gonna read those to you. There's a lot, like I always say, so I'm just gonna read as many as I can without sitting here for 20 minutes because I already filmed 3 videos. It's 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm freaking tired. I filmed 2 paranormal videos, by the way. I have a second channel where I post paranormal, makeup, dyeing my hair, even though I didn't do this, my hair girl did this, vlogs, anything I want basically. So if you want to see that, that's also linked in the description actually. Yeah, I'm gonna start with this one because as soon as I opened it, it was on this one and this is very inspirational. I wanted to revise an abusive relationship a couple months ago because every time I thought of it, I would be triggered and I felt it was pouring into my relationships. Well, I started saying before I read this, I want to let you know, a lot of these are going to show you that whole thing about the subconscious doesn't recognize certain words. So if you say this sentence, it's going to block out this word, it's going to manifest the thing. You're gonna see how that's bullshit in these because a lot of them, the way they're worded, just listen, just specifically listen. I started saying I was never in an abusive relationship and it didn't take long, but I honestly don't even get thoughts of it anymore. And when an old memory pops up, majority of the time it's a good memory with the person. Not saying it's an excuse to accept abuse because I don't talk to him anymore and I've moved on. I also started saying that all my relationships have been perfect and I have never had a negative relationship. So lately when I think of any past relationship, thoughts only come up with the good parts of it. Also, revision for health. Was dealing with something 2 weeks ago and started saying I've always been healthy, I've never had any health issues, and my health is perfect and my issues went away. So yeah, notice the wording here. It still worked. I revised a breakup between my SP/boyfriend and I. The night before I had been really negative, so the very next day all of my negative thoughts manifested. Good thing I just made a video about that rule, about how to set your rules. Had yet to affirm only positive thoughts manifest. Oh, that's funny. So in the old reality story, he and I got into an argument that led to the breakup. I immediately started to affirm that it did not happen. Nothing specific. I didn't script a different conversation. I just simply told myself it did not happen and that I can revise things super fast. So that night I texted him saying that I love him and that I hope he sleeps well and is at peace every day. And the next morning he texted me and said, it's not like we broke up or anything, which definitely does not align with the past reality. He just went on about his own self-doubt and stuff. But after such a successful revision by simply affirming it never happened, I will definitely be working on both his and my mental state diet. She said, what? That never happened. That never happened. When she thought of it, that never happened. And guess what? It didn't happen. My boyfriend and I had an ugly fight, and out of anger I said that we should break up, and he didn't even say anything. He just left. 2 days later, he texted and said that I was right and we should split up. I never reacted. I only replied back with an okay. I closed my eyes and affirmed he didn't say that. He meant that he wanted us to make up because he can't lose me. He would never agree to a breakup. Never. And trust me, immediately after I was done affirming, he sent me another text saying that he was sorry for saying those things and he wanted to see me and make things right. My height. I remember getting a regular checkup and they said that I was exactly 169.5 centimeters tall, but I wanted to be 172 centimeters tall really badly. That day I was like, nope, I'm 172 centimeters. And that is what I was told today. My height is 172. And in fact, my legs went from being 100 centimeters to 102.5 centimeters, literally the morning after. This was 3 years ago. I measured myself last week and the numbers have not changed because 172 centimeters is my height. Mind you, I was supposed to stop getting taller 5 years ago, but here I am. Yeah, because your body's going to do whatever your mind says. Kind of a Jerry Springer story, but I was on and off with a guy. He wound up hooking up with a coworker during our break and got her pregnant. He didn't really want to be tied to her in that way, and I was devastated over it because I still liked him. But after I found out she was pregnant, I broke ties with him so that he could do the right thing. However, I decided to try to revise it anyway. I revised that he would come back telling me that the baby wasn't his. I forgot about it and moved on from the situation and him. A few months later, he asked to talk. When we met up, he told me the baby ended up not being his and apologized for putting me in that situation. Still one of the craziest things I've ever revised. I love how you started with kind of a Jerry Springer story. I got in an argument with a guy I was dating and I revised it in my favor. He not only called me back, but apologized and begged me to take him back. All because I am always right and he has no choice but to make me happy. That was what she affirmed. A letter I received in the mail saying I owed $300 for glasses. I revised the whole letter and shifted it to saying it was a mistake on their behalf. I kept affirming I get what I want. A week later, I get a call saying, sorry, disregard the letter, we made an error. You sure did. I had a conversation with SP about some other girl. Unfortunately, I reacted badly and he was offended. He said, I just wanted to share this story with you. I don't care what you think about it. And then he left. For the first minute, I had a big urge to cry. Then I was like, nope. Did we just fight with each other? Absolutely not. We didn't fight because he cares only about me. I'm the most important person in his life. He will say sorry immediately. That's what I affirmed. No longer than 10 minutes, he came back and hugged me and said, I'm sorry. I was mad only because you were thinking that you're not important to me. And that's not true. I don't care about this bitch. I care about you. Obviously, we've never talked about the situation again. I had to go to Virginia for a day to handle some business and I didn't want to go by myself or drive 5.5 hours by myself. I asked my boyfriend if he wanted to come with me and he told me he couldn't come because he had tickets with his friends to go to a reptile show. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I started revising and affirming for like 30 minutes and he told me that he would come with me and that he would drive. The next morning, he texted me and asked me what time are we leaving out, and also said that he was going to go to bed early that night so that he can be well rested to drive. Got down to Virginia safely. When it was time to go, he said he wanted to take me to the beach so we could enjoy ourselves. It turned out to be a nice trip, and I'm coming back to her because it's almost like he didn't have alternate plans any longer. Almost like they never existed. Revision works, guys. It works. This one was accidental. I had a really expensive ticket to pay after getting in an accident and they suspended my license. I kept saying on the way there that I didn't want to pay the ticket or to reinstate my or pay to reinstate my license. When I got there, I handed the lady my ticket to look up. She looked at me like I had 12 heads. After calling over multiple employees and involving both the courthouse and DMV, they told me there was no record of me ever getting a ticket and that my license was never suspended. Oh my God. I found the perfect house I wanted to rent for me and my children. Perfect school, neighborhood, price, aesthetic, everything. I was then told it was taken and the deposit had already been paid by the other people. I said okay and just ignored it, but in my head I said, I know, right? Congratulations to me. Me and my kids deserve this and we're getting it. Instead of the realtor saying no, it was already taken, I revised it to say they would call me within the week for the approval plans and move-in info. That was my story and I was sticking to it. And after 7 days, that's exactly what happened. Okay, this is a really, really good one. Not that the other ones aren't really, really good. They're just some that I'm like, wow. I posted this story before in your comment sections in one of your videos. Over 2 years ago, when I first discovered your channel in March of 2020, but I manifested my eating disorder and heart disease from said eating disorder away by affirmations alone. I dealt with an eating disorder for over 10 years and with heart disease for over 3. My first successful affirmation after discovering your channel was manifesting both of those illnesses away with affirmations alone. It took 2 weeks, and the only thing I affirmed for heart disease were, I am perfectly healthy. I've always been perfectly healthy. I've always been the healthiest person in the entire world. For my eating disorder, I affirmed, I can't gain weight even if I tried. I lose weight every time I eat, blink, or breathe. I looped these affirmations every single time I had symptoms or thought of either illness, and within 2 weeks they were gone. My eating disorder largely surrounded the fear and stress of calories and weight gain. I never allowed myself to contradict these affirmations even for a moment. That is what made me a believer in the law of assumption and a faithful follower of your teachings. I have never had a repeat of symptoms since then, but I also never allow myself to go there mentally anymore. That shit was so powerful to me because it's like no matter what she was experiencing in her body and her thoughts about her body or her thoughts about how she felt, she still only said what she wanted. And in 2 weeks is a very short amount of time to get something like that you're physically experiencing manifested. That's really fast. That's really powerful. She did not waver. She said again in the comments, I just affirmed anytime I had physical symptoms or anytime it crossed my mind. It took less than 2 weeks in total and I never had a single symptom again in over 2 years. Huge success. Got a mail stating I was selected for 2 out of 3 college campuses. Was not selected for the interview of the main campus, but I wanted to go there only. I was adamant and just affirmed saying I know they made a mistake and will be giving me main campus admission. I kept saying to everyone that I was selected for all 3 campuses. I kid you not, after 2 weeks they sent another mail saying, please ignore the previous mail. You have been selected for all 3 campuses. Of course you have. This one is might be a little triggering. I just want to let you know. It's about her ex who would threaten her, but she revised. I'm going to read it. I'm just letting you know. It's a little intense, a little bit, but it ends good. One of my ex threatened to kill me if I marry someone. My family got worried, obviously, and decided to go to the cops, but I was not ready for it. I kept affirming that I never met him. I never dated him. This is just a bad dream. He was after me for more than 3 years, but I kept affirming about him with all I have in me. So scary, but my faith was stronger. So I decided to call him one last time to threaten him back by saying, I'm going to the cops, you mess with the wrong girl. And suddenly he said, we broken up recently, how can you move on? And bullshit. And I was like, bro, it happened 3 to 4 years ago. He was quiet and apologized for threatening me and said I will not see him or hear from him. But I still kept affirming. I kept affirming that we never dated and he doesn't know I exist to give myself peace of mind. I affirmed that it was just a bad dream. How can someone I never dated threaten me? 2 weeks later, I saw him and I got scared, but he just passed by me like a stranger does. Like we never knew each other. I live by revision. I lost a shopping bag on the way to my home and I thought I forgot it in a taxi and got panicked. But then I calmed myself and said, I'm getting it back, and went through my work. 1 hour later, my mom calls me telling me I left it at a store that I purchased it from. But I kid you not, I remember carrying it outside the mall, so I just don't know what happened. You probably did take it and you probably did leave it in the taxi, but your revision placed it back in the mall. That's just how it works. It's just, I mean, I don't want to say it's magic. Magic is real, guys. Magic is just manifestation. That's where the idea comes from. It's manifestation. We need to not be, it's hard because we're conditioned to believe that these things are either not real, next to impossible, or impossible, and they're just not. We need to get accustomed to these things being normal, you know? I revised the relationship with someone by just saying, our relationship was always perfect and now they don't remember the bad things that happened in the past. Last one, this one's physical revision. I accidentally poured boiling hot water straight from the kettle all over my hand. I was looking at the water going all over my hand and feeling it burn, and I said to myself, nope, this isn't happening, not real. My hand immediately stopped feeling like it was burning, and there was no evidence that it ever happened. No redness, no blistering, no nothing. And then I did the same thing later on when I grabbed my hair straightener by the hot plate. My fingers did start to crisp, but as soon as I affirmed, nope, not happening, not real, my fingers were absolutely fine, again, with no evidence of ever having burnt them. Everything is up here. Everything. If you would like to read more of those, join my Facebook group. If you're in my Facebook group, just go read my most recent post, because I think that's the most recent one I asked for. Yeah, guys, revision, even just by affirmations, you don't have to visualize. These were all revision success stories just from affirming. And even notice the wording. I never experienced this. This never happened. This did not happen. It still worked, and that's how they affirmed. You know why? Because it's not the words, it's what it implies to you. When they were saying, I never experienced this, they were implying that it's not something they had ever experienced, and therefore it changed like it never happened. There's too many unnecessary rules with the law, and this is why I tell you, or not with the law, with people teaching the law or misconstruing. Even a lot of people misconstrue Neville's teachings. Put a bunch of limiting shit on everyone based on what they believe personally, when it's really not what he said or taught or was implying. Same goes for any teachings about the law of attraction or the law of assumption in general. Too many people are putting out all these limiting beliefs, and this is what this works, and this is what science says. And it doesn't. There's enough evidence in people's results alone and in the way you've done things your whole life up until you are consciously manifesting to realize that you never used those rules before and you still manifested things. It is what it implies to you. You know what you're implying when you're saying something. When you say you never experienced something, when you say something didn't happen, then that's exactly what manifests. Okay? Let's not make this hard. Let's just get back to it feeling natural and easy and simple. This is why I say don't overconsume information, because it's too much. There's too much. You'll get too confused. You'll get too worried about every little detail and everybody else's rules, and then you'll get overwhelmed and you'll be worried about every single thing that you do when you don't need to. You don't need to. It's simple, okay? You're good. You got this. Use your vision, word shit the way you want to word it, and live the life of your freaking dreams, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And we out.